Have you ever experienced this? You write down a goal. It's beautiful, clear. Your heart races just thinking about it. A house with windows facing the sun. A job you're proud to introduce at a dinner table. A strong, flexible body full of vitality. A relationship where you can finally rest without pretending to be okay. You write it all down. You post it on your wall. You look at it every morning. And then you come back to yourself and realize, I'm still the same person I was yesterday. That's when you start to question the goal. You change it, make it easier. You adjust your expectations. End of quote. You postpone it. You say, maybe it's not the right time. End of quote. Or worse, you stop setting goals altogether. You say, maybe I'm not the type to chase after big dreams. I just want peace of mind. End of quote. But the truth is this. The goal is not too big. It's the person carrying the goal who hasn't grown into the weight of it yet. I've been there. I was a 25-year-old warehouse guy. No degree. In debt, no clue what tomorrow looked like. But I had goals. I wanted to be wealthy, wise, on a stage, inspiring people the way others once inspired me. I wanted it all. Then I looked at myself and asked, with this mindset, these habits, the way I speak, react, think, sleep, what can I possibly achieve? And the answer hurt. But it was true. I didn't need a new goal. I needed to become someone success couldn't say no to. You see, goals are like beautiful doors, but only those with the internal height, mental stature, character strength. Only they can reach the doorknob, because success isn't about luck. It's about deep preparation and a silent journey of becoming. There's a line I want you to remember today. Etched deep into your consciousness. It's not the goal that transforms you. It's the person you must become in order to reach it. The goal is the destination. You are the road. And if you don't change yourself, even with more maps, more time, more gear, you'll still be lost. I don't blame you for failing before. I've failed more times than you might think. But I do hold you responsibly. You know you're living in a version of yourself that's no longer serving you, and still tell the world, I'm going to do something big. No, you won't. Not unless you live differently, think differently, show up differently for your own life. You don't need to write 10 more goals. Pick one and ask, what kind of person would I need to become to achieve this? Then live like that person, because that's what my mentor once told me. He looked at me and said, Jim, if you want to become someone new, you have to start with what in you needs to be left behind. So today, I won't ask you to change your goals. I won't ask you to dream different dreams. I'll simply ask you to become the person worthy of the dream you already wrote down every day, quietly, in the moments no one sees, because success will knock. The question is, when it does, will you be ready to open the door? Or will you be hiding still, unprepared to receive what you ask for? Here's a truth few will say out loud, though we've all lived it. The person who sets the goal is not the same person who achieves it. You can be the one who writes the plans. You can be the one shouting affirmations. You can be the one fired up after a book, a video, a seminar, but the one who pushes through a tired Tuesday at 6 a.m. who says no to useless distractions, who sits down to do the work unprompted. Unseen, that's someone else entirely. Do you see it? The dreamer and the builder are two different people. The one who sets goals is often driven by desire. The one who reaches them is grounded in commitment. Desire is easy. Commitment costs something. Desire relies on emotion. Commitment is built on values. Desire rides the mood. Commitment builds structure. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Success doesn't seek out the most passionate. It stays with the most committed, especially when the passion is gone. Let me tell you about a student of mine named Michael. When I met him, he was an average sales guy, average income, average mindset, average results. But he had dreams, big ones. He wanted to lead, build his own company, take care of his family, reach financial freedom by 40. I asked him, "What are you doing every day for that dream?" He said, "I watch motivational videos. I journal. I read every week." I said, "Good. That's what dreamers do. But what does a committed person do?" A committed person, I told him, acts every day as if there's no way back. So we start at small, go to bed, and wake up on schedule. Cut 50% of his screen time, learn one new business skill a week, send me a weekly discipline report. And he did it, not because he felt like it, but because he had finally shifted from wanting to becoming. 3 years later, Michael had his own business. Still the same man, but no longer the same person. He used to write goals. No, he lives them. You may ask, then what do I need to do to change myself? And my answer is simple, not flashy. Become someone you can trust. You don't need to be loud. You just need to wake up when you said you would. Write down what you learned before bed. Ask yourself, when tempted to procrastinate, would the version of me who deserves this dream do what I'm doing right now? And if the answer is no change, your actions, not your dream. There's a picture I keep close to my heart. A man standing in the middle of a barren field, holding a handful of rare seeds. He sits there day after day, hoping for a harvest. But he hasn't tilled the soil, hasn't cleared the weeds, hasn't irrigated, hasn't done a single thing but wish. Where are you in that picture? No matter how beautiful your dream, it won't grow in soil that's not ready. And your mindset, habits, character, that's the soil. That's the environment. I once said, success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. It's not about chasing it harder. It's about becoming more magnetic to it. Because success is drawn to inner weight, not outer flash. So don't ask, how do I get to the goal? Ask, who must I become to deserve it? Remember, the goal setter lives with intention. The goal achiever lives with structure. And the space between them is filled with daily invisible choices. You want to move closer to your dream? Then don't just upgrade your vision, upgrade yourself. I've said it before, and I'll say it slowly so you'll never forget. The goal isn't the problem. The person chasing it is what needs rebuilding. But how do you do that? How do you change a person who's lived with the same thoughts for years? How do you begin when you feel no motivation, see no result, and every old habit clings to you like roots deep in the earth? The answer is not total transformation overnight. The answer is this. Start rebuilding with small bricks placed every day with full awareness. I call this the 4-tier process to rebuild the self. You don't need more money. You don't need a guru. You just need to take yourself seriously. You just need to become someone who keeps promises to themselves. Awareness. Look at yourself without excuses. Change always begins with honesty. Honesty about where you're really standing. No sugarcoating, no hiding, no blaming. I once sat alone and wrote down 3 questions. What daily habits are keeping me stuck? What relationships are shrinking me? What beliefs are making me afraid to move? You don't need answers right away. Just write, because clarity is the first light that breaks through your darkness. And once you name the truth, you can't go back to pretending. Habits rewire your life through small, repeated acts. You don't change your life with a spark of inspiration. You change it by rewiring your identity through daily practice bit by bit. So I want you to choose 3 small daily behaviors that will reshape your future in 1 year. Examples: wake up 30 minutes earlier, journal before bed, read 10 pages of personal growth every evening, and every time you feel like skipping them, remember, you're not just reading, you're training your mind. You're not just journaling, you're reclaiming your awareness. You're not just waking up early, you're building willpower. Scent, environment, clean what's feeding your old identity. No one grows in a garden full of weeds. You want to become someone new? Rebuild the spaces where you think, live, and spend your energy. I once told a student, you don't need another book. You need to clean your Facebook. And you don't need more motivation. You need fewer conversations with people who drag you back into comfort zones. And ask yourself, who makes me want to live bigger? Who constantly makes me doubt myself? Who do I have to perform for just to feel accepted? Cut, filter, step away, or draw closer like a farmer, removing weeds before a new season begins. Sit, inner vow, make a promise that's sacred and unseen. Finally, the deepest, most powerful, most durable layer, a personal vow, not posted, not announced, just quietly held like a fire cupped in your hands on a cold night. Write a vow short, but sacred, a line you live by. Example, I will live with principle 7 when no one sees. I'll study 15 minutes each night even if I feel numb. I'll stop delaying what I know is right just because I'm scared. This vow doesn't need applause. It needs your quiet loyalty until you become the version of yourself you once only dreamed of. You know, people think transformation is lonely, but I believe every time you choose discipline, courage, or patience, the universe whispers, I see you. You're becoming, and so don't chase hype. Build a system. Start with 1 honest look at the truth, 1 repeated action, no matter how small, 1 clean environment that supports you, 1 vow no one knows, but you never break. Because it's these quiet things that carry you toward the dream you once wrote down, not the way you thought, but through the person you're becoming step by step. Do you know what changed my life? Not a burst of inspiration, not watching someone else succeed and thinking, if they can, I can. Not a promotion or a lucky break. No, what changed me was sitting alone, exhausted, and asking myself, with who I am today, what do I truly deserve? That question cut through my illusions, because deep down, I knew I wanted more, but also deep down, I knew I wasn't yet someone who could hold on to it. That was the day I understood a principle I hope you never forget. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Success isn't something you chase down. It's something drawn to you when you become a magnet strong enough to hold it. Picture yourself in a room. All around you float the things you desire: financial peace, vibrant health, meaningful relationships, respect, inner calm. They're not running toward you. They're just hovering, waiting to be pulled in. And what pulls them isn't your wishing, it's your internal gravity, your mindset, your habits, your integrity, your follow through. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room to succeed. You just need to become someone of deep value to yourself first. Because once you know who you are and you live that truth, you stop chasing and start attracting the right things, the right people, the right opportunities, the right environments. Have you noticed? Trustworthy people always find allies. Disciplined people may take time, but their results speak for themselves. Lifelong learners are always invited to the table, not because they're perfect, but because they bring real substance. And dreamers, they might turn heads, but they rarely hold trust because they haven't invested in becoming. I once said at a seminar, don't expect a higher income if you're not increasing your own value. Don't expect a better relationship if you're not becoming a deeper person. Don't expect a different life if you're not becoming a different self. That doesn't mean you're not good enough now. It means you always have the chance to grow into a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. And from that version, the things you need will begin to find you like metal drawn to a magnet. You may ask, Jim, how do I build that kind of magnetic self? I'll tell you simply, by keeping your word when no one's watching, by telling the truth when lying is easier, by studying when no one reminds you, by saying no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's right, not to look impressive, but to build inner weight, because success isn't impressed by noise. It stays where the soul has depth. So don't ask, how can I catch up to success? Ask instead, how can I become someone success can't overlook? That answer won't arrive overnight, but it will arrive quietly through small actions. Choosing discipline once more, sitting to study instead of scrolling, being silent instead of reacting, getting up early when your heart's still sleepy, saying no to what's shrinking your future. Each of these builds your inner pull, and one day you won't need to chase anymore. You will have become the person success seeks out. I want you to pause for a few seconds, not to think, but to feel. What hit you the hardest in everything we've talked about? Was it a dream you left behind? A plan that's been gathering dust in your drawer? A promise to yourself that you quietly broke more than once? If yes, don't be discouraged. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to remind you that we've all had a former self, young, hesitant, inconsistent, hopeful but unsure. But we don't have to live forever as that version. The most powerful thing about being human is our ability to become No one starts ready. No one is born with unshakable confidence. Everything you admire in others, resilience, clarity, leadership, discipline, peace under pressure, the natural presence that draws in success, all of it is the result of a personal journey of choosing failing, learning, and rebuilding. So if today you're at the starting line, if you feel small, confused, not yet worthy, let me say this, not with height, but with real conviction. You don't have to have it all. You just have to start rebuilding a little each day, quietly, with your eyes fixed on the person you want to become. And remember, success doesn't come because you've waited long enough. It doesn't arrive because you wrote great plans. It doesn't show up because you've watched enough motivation. It shows up when you become the kind of person who can hold it. Don't ask, how can I get there faster? Ask instead, am I growing deep enough to be ready when it arrives? Today, I don't want you to do something huge. I just want you to rewrite one dream you once gave up on. Look yourself in the eye and ask, have I been living like someone who could make this happen? Then write one small, a specific thing you'll do tomorrow, and do it without drama, without applause. Just do it. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you lay another stone on the road to your future. And I promise you, if you keep doing that without skipping, without excuses, one day you'll look back and say, I've become the person I once only imagined. Finally, write this down if you really want to carry it in your heart. The goal is only a mirror. It reflects the version of yourself you're meant to become. And if you have the courage to evolve, you won't need to change the dream. Because when you grow, you'll arrive. What are you thinking right now? Where do you want to begin again? Do you have the courage to revisit something you dropped and give it a new kind of promise? If yes, stand up, take a deep breath, and walk as if you already are the person your goal has been waiting for. No need to prove anything. Just live true to what you've always longed to become